Hello everyone, it's the Worm, and welcome back to Steins Gate. Alright, this is not the first time I've tried to record this. It's kind of funny, when you've been away from something for more than a week, it's kind of tough to jump back into it immediately. Yeah. So, to explain that a bit, for me, ever since I discovered the sort of scheduling feature on YouTube, I've tried to sort of change up how I record a bit. Essentially, rather than just recording every other day or, something like that, I decided, why not try to do a big batch and then just have it scheduled throughout the week for the various episodes to release. And that feels pretty good. Or at least it did throughout the last week. But unfortunately, that leaves it so that, it's been over a week since I last recorded, so I've tried to do this a few times at this point, and I come across as pretty rambly, I've found. It's strange. Why? It's only been about a week. Why am I having so much trouble with this? But anyway, let's try to focus right now, because we left off at a pretty intense moment last time. Yes, we left off in the middle of, what would you call it? Assault? In the middle of a crime, a very serious crime that we were perpetrating. Yes, we barged our way into a young woman's room and forced ourselves upon her. Yeah, that's one way to phrase it. But of course, the situation is a bit more complicated than that. Essentially, whereas I thought we would get some sort of murder mystery case, instead, we've just gone straight to Moeka for answers. Because, how she died, turns out that might not actually be that important. Rather, we just need to get the information about her D-mail and reverse it. Yeah, we gotta keep our eyes on the prize there, so... Of course, it was never going to be that simple. Moeka is clearly quite bereft at this point. I think that Moeka probably was able to get the IBN and fulfilled her mission, but for whatever reason, FB has now stopped contacting her. And that's obviously led to her, what would it be? Become depressed and freak out, and potentially even commit suicide. Again, we're not too clear on how she died, but as Karisu sort of illustrated last time, it might not really matter exactly how she dies. And we also learned another thing, that Moeka, with her shining finger abilities, actually changed her D-mail very quickly when we weren't looking. And, they did set up that Moeka is incredibly quick with the typing, but, I can't help but feel a bit, what would I say? Feels like it's a bit unfair that, she was able to do that, but, it is what it is. Now, before going back into that scene, I just want to say, it was quite visceral. Yeah, it felt very visceral to me, that whole scene. Of course, in terms of what we've actually seen before this moment, there have been some pretty gruesome scenes already. Mostly with Mayuri, of course, and her various deaths. We've seen her shot right in front of us, and even the, pushed in front of a train, and yeah, those have been awful. But in this scene, it's not just something we're kind of observing. Rather, we're kind of in the passenger seat here, watching as Okabe does this. And certainly, just me personally, just reading through it last time, I can recall was... it was not an enjoyable sequence for me. And there was a brief moment where Kurisu mentioned and Okabe had to consider whether he was actually just going to murder her. And wow, it's and the part of the reasoning I can recall, it's what I titled the last episode, "Doing What Never Happened." I believe we've sort of played with the idea a bit before, but this is it's sort of thrust into the forefront, this idea that, any crime we commit, any sort of bad action we do can all be erased. And so this is going to the very extreme where, hey, we could kill her and then just make it so it never happened. But of course, we all know that it's not that simple. We know that it'll... what would be a good way to say it? For lack of a better phrase, it would stain his soul. It would be burned into his memories that he committed this action. And so... it's interesting to me that even though Kurisu suggested it, when Okabe said he ended up not killing her, Kurisu seemed to be relieved, because I think she understands just how big of an effect that would have on someone. Because it would be well, it's something he could take back in the sense of reversing with time travel, but on his psyche, that's something you can't take back. Now, when we left off, we were kind of in a very compromising position. I believe we were on top of her, and we just got interrupted. So, I'm thinking that, well, this could go very bad very quickly. I mean, we had Moika accusing us of some pretty awful things, and who's gonna be... who are they gonna believe? That's the thing. So, I don't know. Are we gonna just be arrested? Because that really feels like that's on the table at this point. So let's go ahead and get back in there and finish the scene that we left off last time. One moment, please. Okay, here we are. Back to this this scene. All right, let's go ahead and see how we can get ourselves out of this position, because I'm struggling to think of how we possibly can. A knock sounds from the door. Moika and I both look at the door in surprise. Hello, this is Nishida from next door. Is everything okay? Do you need the police? If not, then could you please keep it down? The walls here are pretty thin. Damn, I didn't think about that. I can't have her calling the police. Yeah. Not surprised. He's going to kill me. Moika suddenly screams. No, stop it. Don't kill me. You bitch. What now? I need to silence Moika somehow. But I can't use either hand. There's only one... No. No. Don't do what I think you're about to do, Okabe. There's only one way. Call the Okay, yep. I suddenly pressed my lips against Moeka's. My loveless kiss shuts her up quite effectively. You know, Okabe, I can see this backfiring very quickly. I lock eyes with her as well, trading glares in silence. Kids these days. Really? You didn't hear the, he's going to kill me? Okay. Alrighty then. Nishida does not care. I finally hear the neighbor's footsteps recede. What a relief. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, she could... She was just gonna bite you, man. I feel a sharp pain on my lip. I instinctively jerk away. Blood drips from my mouth and lands on Moeka's neck. She bit me. When I feel around my lip with the tip of my tongue, the taste of blood spreads out from the laceration. Moeka breathes wildly as she glares at me with tearful eyes. Don't act like it's your first time. You're older than me, remember? She grimaces and looks away. Her pink lips glisten with saliva. I might have found the sight alluring if the situation were different. Yeah, can we not? Let's not talk about that right now, Okabe. Please don't say things like that right now. Moeka turns her face away and looks up, through the open curtains at the bright full moon outside the window. Okay. I guess we solved it. Wow. I did not expect to get out of that easily. Huh. How much time has passed? It feels like it's already been dozens of hours. But it's still night outside, so it probably hasn't been more than 1 or 2. Moeka hasn't said a word since I kissed her. She hasn't tried to escape either. Her expression is blank, just staring off to the side. What is she looking at? I follow her gaze, but the only thing there is a half-empty bottle of water. Has she given up? Either way, I can't let my guard down. Maybe it's the stress, but it feels like my body is going numb. I've been drenched in sweat for a while now. This room has no air conditioning whatsoever. The heat is starting to get to me. I thought I had an overwhelming advantage in this position, but it's harder to maintain than I expected. Not only do I have to keep Moeka pinned, I also have to keep a close eye on her so she doesn't try anything. All Moeka has to do is lie there. She can rest and try again whenever she's ready. Will this last all night? At this rate, my strength might give out first. Fear mounts. If she escapes, she's going to try and kill me. She must have her gun somewhere, I'm sure. I consider calling Krisu for help, but I can't use either hand, and I don't even know what time it is. Damn. It's almost like I'm the one who's trapped. No, stay positive. You can do this. Moeka's dependent on her phone. That's her weak point. If I keep her separated from her phone, then sooner or later, her will to resist should collapse. It's a matter of whose strength will fail first.
Okabe-kun.
Oh? Suddenly, Moeka calls my name.
どうしたら返してくれる?
What do I have to do? Now she's trying to ask nicely. Does this mean she's given up? This is exactly what I was waiting for. Now I move in for the kill.
お前は D メールを送ったことを覚えているか
Do you remember sending a D mail?
D 何
A D what?
D メール過去へ送ることのできるメール
D mail. An email that you sent to the past.
お前はそれを送ったお前自身の携帯へな
You sent one to your own phone.
機種変更に関する内容だと思っていたがそれは嘘だったお前は俺たちの目をごまかしてこっそりメールの内容を入れ替えたんだ
You led me to think it was about a phone model exchange, but you changed the text before you sent it. Her typing speed is lightning fast. It would have been easy for her to type a mere 36 characters while Daru and I were preoccupied with a phone wave name subject to change.
その結果世界線が変わった
Your D-mail changed the past.
お前は覚えていないか
Don't you remember? Normally, once the past changes, everything up until that point is undone. But it should be possible to make Moeka remember, just as Feiris and Lukaku did.
知らない
I don't know.
知らないんじゃない思い出していないだけなんだ
You do know. You just haven't remembered yet.
思い出せお前は思い出さなければならない
Remember. Remember or else. Or else what? I don't know. This is just a tactic to put pressure on Moeka. I have another plan to make her remember. Moeka turns away again and bites her lip. Tears start falling from her eyes. I watch, never once taking my eyes off her. I didn't notice before now, but her shirt must have become undone during the struggle. I can see the alluring curves of her collarbone, the skin of her large pale breasts, a hint of sexy underwear. Okay. Her breasts heave with each painful breath. The base of her neck is stained with blood from my lip. It's dry like a scab. Normally, Moeka could be mistaken for an elegant, beautiful woman. But now, she has large shadows under her eyes. Her skin is rough. Her face is pale. She looks more intoxicated than intoxicating. Her entire body reeks of death. She's clearly insane. This is the real Moeka. I wish I'd realized sooner.
本当に知らないの
I really don't know.
思い出せるならそうするけど
If I could remember, I would.
わからないわ一体何のことなのか
But I don't remember anything. Moeka's gaze shifts constantly, from me to the ceiling and then to the window. But her slow murmuring is evidence that she's almost beat. Just a little more and her resistance will end.
だったら質問を変える
Fine, I'll change the question.
2週間ほど前お前は奇妙なメールを受け取ったはずだ
You received a strange email about 2 weeks ago.
差出人はお前自身の携帯しかもそのメールは数日後の未来から送信されていた
It came from your own number, and it was dated several days in the future. Moeka's eyes open wide. Gotcha.
覚えがあるなそれがお前が送った D メールだ
You remember? Good. That was the D mail.
内容を教えろ
What did it say?
教えたら
And if I tell you,
携帯を返す
I'll return your phone.
くそ
Fuck you. She suddenly curses at me.
内容は言えない。
I won't tell you.
なぜだ
Why not?
ラウンダーに関係する。
It's my mission. Her mission? I recall what Moeka told me on a previous world line. The Rounder's mission is to find and acquire IBN 5100s. In that case,
IBN 5100
the IBN 5100. She fell into my trap. Her reflexive response was all I needed to see.
それに関することだな。
It was about the IBN 5100.
どこまで知っている？メールの内容。
How much do you know?
質問をするのは俺だけだ。いいから答えろ。
I'm asking the questions here. Just answer.
言えない。
I can't.
FB を裏切ることに。
I won't betray FB.
携帯よりも FB を選ぶのか。大した忠誠心だな。
So you're choosing FB over your phone. How loyal. But Mayuri's fate hangs in the balance. I can't give up. Moeka still hasn't calmed down. She's been opening and closing her hands for a while now. She's not trying to escape my restraint. She's just twisting her body, licking her lips, shaking her head, trying to brush the hair off her face. It's like she's suffering from withdrawal without her phone. Soon she won't have the mental fortitude to resist. If she won't talk now, then I'll just wait until she will.
携帯がないとそんなに苦痛か。なぜそこまで依存する？
Is it really that painful to not have your phone? Why are you so dependent on it?
会話まともにできなくて。
I can't talk to people.
今はしているではないか。
You're talking right now, aren't you? And when she attacked the lab, she was leading a squad of hardened killers. But Moeka shakes her head violently.
メールまでできなくなったら私は
If I can't use mail, then I'll be...
世界から断絶してしまう。
cut off from the world.
世界だと孤独な女を気取っているつもりか。お前が恐れているのはラウンダーから見捨てられることだろう。
The world? Are you fishing for sympathy? You're just afraid of being abandoned by the Rounders, aren't you?
違う。ラウンダーじゃなくて FB から見捨てられること。
No, not the Rounders, but by FB. That's the same thing, isn't it?
だったら世界などと言うな。何の罪もない女の子を容赦なく殺した分際でマユリを世界から断絶させた分際で。
Then don't say the world. You're the one who killed an innocent girl. You're the one who erased Mayuri from the world.
殺してない。
I didn't kill her.
そう、この世界線ではな。だが別の世界線においては、お前はラウンダーとして俺たちのタイムマシンを奪おうとした。その時に殺したマユリを。
Yes, not on this world line, but on another world line. You came to steal our time machine. You killed her. You killed Mayuri. On the world line where I interrogated Moeka, she told me that Mayuri was expendable. It didn't matter to CERN whether she lived or died.
FB の指示なら殺したと思う。絶対に。
If FB told me to, then yes, I killed her.
FB とは何者だ。一体どこにいる。
Who is FB? Where the hell is he? I asked her the same question back then, But another rounder appeared before she could answer. Something tells me she won't have backup this time. Moika's position in the rounders has changed.
言えない。
Can't tell you.
ならばいいことを教えてやる。
Then let me tell you something.
いいか。お前は今、俺に捕まっている状況だが、助けを期待しているのなら、無駄だ。
Listen good. If you're holding out for backup, you can forget it.
どうせ誰も助けに来ない。お前は絶望に打ちひしがれたまま、4日後に自殺する。
Nobody's coming to save you. The pain and despair are just going to get worse, and in 4 days, you'll kill yourself. Moika seems startled by this. I go in for the kill.
俺は5日後から来た。セルンが欲しがるタイムマシンを使ってな。だから知っている。
I came here from the future, using the time machine CERN wants so badly. That's how I know.
お前はこの部屋で一人孤独に自分を殺すんだ。
You kill yourself in this room, all alone.
お前の大好きな FB はお前を助けない。ラウンダーもセルンも300人委員会もだ。
Your precious FB doesn't come save you. No one does. Not the Rounders, not CERN, not the Committee of 300.
どれだけメールしても上司からの連絡はないんだろう。それはなぜだ？
Your boss hasn't replied to your mails, has he? You know why?
もう見捨てられているんだよ。
Because you've been abandoned. Moika's face contorts in despair. Once again, tears fall from her eyes. Guilt squeezes my heart. I know I'm causing this woman pain. Inside of me, a voice whispers that it's nothing compared to what she did to Mayuri, that I have no reason to show mercy to a murderer. But at the same time, my conscience screams that it's wrong to hurt someone, no matter who they are or what they've done. Insane mad scientist my ass, I'm afraid to hurt my mortal enemy. I'm nothing but a hypocrite.
FB をかばう必要はない。だから全て話せ。
FB doesn't deserve your loyalty. Tell me everything. I ignore the ache in my heart and push harder. But Moika shakes her head violently.
FB は裏切らない。私を見捨てない。
FB wouldn't betray me. FB wouldn't abandon me.
だったらなぜお前は4日後に自殺すると思う？
Then why do you kill yourself in 4 days?
お前が私を殺すのよ。自殺に見せかけて。
You kill me and make it look like a suicide.
俺はそんなヘマはしない。俺ならお前を殺した後でタイムリープする。お前の死はなかったことにできる。
I wouldn't need to cover it up if I killed you. I'd just undo your death with my time machine.
私は
FB から返事が来ないと言ってこの部屋で死んだような顔をしていたのはどこのドイツだ？
When I got here, you were sitting in the corner like a limp rag, crying about how FB wouldn't answer, remember? But
もう何日来ていない。 FB からの連絡は普段はどのくらいの頻度で来ていていつから来なくなった？
how many days has it been? How often did FB contact you before, and when did it stop? Keep the questions coming. Need to pile on the pressure.
普段毎日連絡を。
It used to be. Every day.
でももう10日近く。
But it's already been 10 days.
10日も連絡が来ていない。そうだな。
10 days with no contact, correct? Moika looks up at me with pleading eyes.
私裏切れないよ。
I won't betray FB.
お前は裏切られたんだよ。
FB betrayed you.
FB を信じてる。
I believe in FB.
お前は切り捨てられた。
He threw you away.
利用されるだけされてな。もう用済みということだ。
FB used you and now your usefulness has ended.
FB はそんな人じゃ。
FB isn't like that.
だったらどんな人なんだ。
Then what sort of person was he?
お母さんみたいに私に優しくて。
She was gentle to me, like a mother. Interesting. Okay.
私はやっと心地いい居場所を。
I finally had a place I belonged. Like a mother? FB is a woman? I expected an evil-looking old man like you see in the movies, but I guess I was wrong.
悩みを相談したり、いつもすぐに返事くれた。
I talked to her about my worries. She always replied right away.
友達みたいで。でも包み込む優しさがあって。
Like a friend, but gentle, accepting.
会ったことは。
Have you met her? Moika shakes her head weakly.
会ったことがない。お母さんみたいで友達みたいでお前にとって心地いい居場所だったのに。
You haven't met? Even though she's like your mother? Your friend? Damn. If they had met, then I could have gotten Moika to lead me to her.
ラウンダーは互いの正体隠すのがルールで。
Rounders must hide their identities from one another, as a rule.
連絡は取り合っていたのに一度も会ったことはない。確かに会うのはルール違反かもな。だがお前は FB が好きで会ってみたかった。違うか。
So you've talked but never met. But you must have wanted to meet her, right? Even if it was against the rules.
違うよ。
No, no.
会ったら幻滅される。だから会いたいなんて思わない。
It would ruin everything if she saw the real me.
会いたいと言われたことは。
Did she ever say she wanted to meet you?
一度もないし言ったこともない。
No, never. I never asked.
その様子だと電話もしたことがないな。
So, no phone calls either, right? Moika turns away. She nods faintly.
避けられているとは思わなかったのか。
Didn't you wonder why?
そこまで親身になってくれた優しい女上司がお前に会おうとしない理由は本当にルールだけか。
Why would such a kind, gentle woman refuse to meet you in person? Was it really just the rules?
そしてなぜ連絡をよこさない。理由を考えてみろ。
And why isn't she returning your emails now? Think about it.
振り込め詐欺と同じだ。お前は騙されていたんだ。
She was using you. You were tricked.
FB を悪く言わないで。そんな人じゃない。
Don't say that. She's not like that.
連絡が途絶える前、最後のメールはどんな内容だった？
What did her last email say before she stopped contacting you?
IBM IBN5100 を指定場所に置いておけ。
Leave the IBN 5100 at the designated location. The IBN 5100? Moeka, you fool. You let your tongue slip. 2 weeks ago, FB told her to leave the IBN 5100 at the drop point. That means she already had it in her possession at that time. I recall how Moeka kept bombarding me with questions about the IBN 5100. I might have let it slip that I found the computer at Yanabayashi Shrine. After that, she sent her D-mail. The word line changed. The lock was broken on the Shrine storehouse door. The IBN 5100 was gone. These facts point to one conclusion. She sent herself the location of the IBN 5100. Now that I know, it seems obvious. If only I hadn't trusted Moeka. If only I had seen through her lies. But no, I played right into her hands. I was the tool's tool. I almost burst into self-deriding laughter. But I desperately hold it back and keep a straight face.
その場所はどこだ?
What was the designated location?
コインロッカー、大ビル前の。
The coin locker, in front of Daibiru. Is that the same coin lockers where Lukaku put it in? That's kind of funny if that's the case. Because we know Lukaku put it in a coin locker, I think. The coin locker in front of Daibiru. Yeah. Wait, isn't that where Lukaku hid the IBN 5100 on the previous world line? Is this another effect of convergence? Can I retrieve the IBN 5100 if I go there now? No, I can't expect it to still be there. Remember what happened with Lukaku? The invisible force of convergence is keeping the IBN 5100 away from me. If I want to get it back, I need to cancel Moeka's D-mail. I know the message. I've already reached my goal. Moeka starts crying softly. I sigh deeply, and lift myself off Moeka's body. Then I lean back against the wall and stretch my aching limbs. I take Moeka's phone out of my pocket.
携帯を使わせてもらうぞ.
I'm using your phone. Moeka slowly gets up. She wipes her tears and fixes her hair and clothes. Her wavy hair obscures her face from this angle, so I can't make out her expression. She doesn't react to what I said. Even though I'm no longer restraining her, she doesn't try to attack me and take back her phone. I open the mailbox on her phone and sift through the massive numbers of messages, searching through the D-mail, or the D-mail. It takes about 3 minutes, but I finally find it. 3 mails from Moeka's own phone, each 12 characters long. They were sent at around 2:30 p.m. on August 4th and received at around 10 a.m. on July 31st. Retro PCs at Yanabayashi Shrine, hurry. Just as I suspected, Moeka changed her D-mail in the few seconds I had my back turned. All I need to do now is send the cancellation mail.
今、ラボにいるか?
You at the lab?
心配させんな、バカ。
Phew. Don't worry me like that, idiot.
心配してくれていたのか?
What, were you worried about me?
どう見ても死亡フラグ立ってたから、無事なのが驚きよ。
I mean, you set off an obvious death flag. I'm surprised you're still alive.
今どこにいる?
Where are you now?
ちゃんとラボで待機中。
I'm standing by at the lab.
もう一度 D メールを送る。準備を頼む。
Set up the machine. I'm sending another D-mail.
タイマー設定は
Destination?
31日の11時頃に着くように設定を。
July 31st, 11 a.m.
31日の11時ということは
11 a.m. on the 31st. While Karisu calculates the hours, I type the mail. Do not go, not at shrine, it's a trap. It says yes, it says that. But would she believe it? I addressed the mail to the phone wave name subject to change.
準備 OK。
Okay, all set.
よし、起動してくれ。
Alright, activated.
起動した。
Activated. I press the send button. The mail starts sending. Reading Steiner should activate. This time for sure. I brace myself for the incoming vertigo.
ど
Well?
ダメだ。なぜ変わらない？
Nothing. Why won't it change? At least, well, my immediate thought is, even if she got another email that said don't go, remember the Rounders are desperately searching everywhere they can with almost, with fanatical vigor here, you know? They really are gonna find it. So even if at least my imagination is, even if Moeka got a conflicting email that says, okay, don't go there, I feel like she would check anyway, just in case. Because we know how desperate she is to go around and find it. So I can imagine her not being dissuaded by one conflicting email there. Nothing. Why won't it change?
また間違い
Another mistake?
いや、そんなはずはない。萌香の D メールの内容も確認済みだ。それを否定するメールを送った。
There's no way. I know what Moika's message said. This D-mail should have canceled it. Why isn't it working? What the hell's wrong this time?
最初の D メールの内容は
What did the first email say?
柳林神社に IBN5100 があると知らせるものだ。今のメールでそれは罠だと否定したんだが。
That the IBN 5100 was at Yanabayashi Shrine. I tried to cancel it by telling her it's a trap, but it didn't work.
もう一度別の文面で再送を。
I'll try to phrase it differently.
待った D メールの面倒な部分についてはロト6の実験で検証済みでしょ
Wait. We went through this with the Lotto 6 experiment, remember? The Lotto 6 experiment. I set myself the winning numbers, but the past me didn't buy the ticket. Instead, he gave the winning numbers to Lukako.
D メールを読んだ人間がその通りに行動するかどうかは個人の資質に影響される。
Yeah. The person who reads the D-mail chooses whether or not to act accordingly.
桐生って人は神社に IBN5100 があると知らされた。直後にそれを否定するメールが来ても構わず神社へ行ったという推測が導ける。
Exactly. Kiryu learned that the IBN 5100 was at the shrine. Though the cancellation mail came right afterward, I guess she ignored it and went to it anyway.
否定するメールを信じなかったか。あるいはクソ真面目に否定されても念のために調べてみたか。ということか。
Yep. Maybe she didn't believe the cancellation mail. Or maybe she was so diligent she decided to check it out even when told not to. I glance at Moeka. She's still hanging her head, but her tears have run dry. I wonder if she's listening.
厄介ね。神社に調べに行くことにリスクが発生すると伝えても聞いてくれなかったっていうことだから。
Damn. Even when told it was too risky to go to the shrine, she went anyway.
より強制力の強い文面にするしかない。 神社に行くのを禁止させるぐらいの。
We need a more persuasive message. Something that'll prevent her from going to the shrine. Well, at this point, the only thing I can imagine stopping her would be a message from FB, right?
どうやって
Like what? That's the problem. Is it possible to persuade her with just 36 bytes of text? Or should we consider other possibilities?
例えば、7月30日のお礼と D メールを送り、先に IBN5100 を回収させるという方法は。
That's a good idea. What if I send a D-mail to myself on July 30th? Could I beat her to the IBN 5100? Yeah. I feel like we should have considered this earlier.
その日のあんたは IBN5100 に興味があったのか
Oh, that's a good point. Were you even interested in the IBN 5100 then? When did I start caring about the IBN 5100? I can't remember. Fine, that's out. So, how do I convince Moeka to listen? At that moment, an electric shock runs through my brain. 2 initials.
FB だ。
Yep.
何
So, how do we impersonate FB?
萌香の上司、依存の対象。FB からのメールなら無条件で信じるはず。
Moeka's handler. She's obsessed with FB. If the mail comes from FB, she'll do whatever it says.
その FB とかいう人の携帯持ってるの
Do you have FB's phone?
いいや。会ったことさえない。どこにいるかもわからない。
No, they haven't even met. We don't know where FB is.
話にならない
Then there's nothing we can do.
少し時間をくれ。
Give me a little time.
また待たせるのか私はずっとラボに泊まり込んでるからいいけど
Gonna make me wait again? Well, I have been pulling all-nighters recently, so whatever.
あんまり無茶しないでね
Just don't do anything stupid, okay? So, even after prying the answers out of Moeka, there's still more work to be done. The will of the world really seems to love getting in my way. Fine then. To break out of this world line, I need FB's identity and location. I call Moeka's name. When she finally looks up, I drop her phone onto her lap. She accepts it with a confused expression.
FB を探すことになった。
Looks like we're searching for FB now. Moeka grips her phone, but she doesn't look at the screen. I sigh deeply. I need to get as much information on FB out of her as I can.
お前はどういう経緯でラウンダーに？
How exactly did you become a rounder? Honestly, I couldn't care less. I hate having to stand here and talk with a woman who killed my Yuri. Hugging her phone to her chest, Moeka retrieves her glasses and puts them back on.
4年前死のうとしてた
4 years ago, I tried to kill myself. Her voice is barely an audible whisper. For a moment, I'm surprised she's not talking by mail.
何の希望も持てなくて何もかもが嫌になって
I had no hope. I wanted to get away from everything.
原因は
Why?
特にこれっていうのは
No big reason. Her expression is blank, lifeless, like always. But behind her glasses, her eyes are red from crying. They are the only traces of emotion on her doll-like face.
でも小さなことがたくさん積み重なって
Little things. Lots of little things, piled up.
もともとこんな性格だし
I've always been like this.
家族は
And your family. Moeka shakes her head a little. She has none, I guess. I don't bother asking whether she ever had parents. It doesn't really matter.
自分の部屋で睡眠薬大量に飲んで
I locked myself in my room and overdosed on sleeping pills.
でも死ぬのを失敗して
But I didn't die.
そこにメールが
Afterward, I got mail.
ラウンダー募集って個人宛てじゃなくて一斉送信の
Recruiting rounders, it said. It was sent to hundreds of people, not just me. Isn't that just spam? Do the rounders really recruit like that?
私はどうでもよくなってた。だから気づいたら返信してた。
Nothing mattered anymore, so on a whim, I replied.
そしたら連絡が来たの。FB から。
And then, FB contacted me.
それからずっと FB の指示に従ってた。
Ever since, I've followed FB's orders.
ずっとこの秋葉に
Were you always stationed in Akiba? Moika shakes her head.
3ヶ月前まで名古屋、その前は横浜、その前は
Until 3 months ago, I was in Nagoya. Before that, Yokohama. Before that... The Rounder's chief duty is to acquire IBM 5100s. I guess they had her traveling all over Japan, digging up info on retro PCs.
これまでに IBN5100 をいくつ見つけた
How many IBM 5100s have you found so far?
一台も
Not even one. No results. It sounds like CERN is spending a lot of effort for not much return. I sighed deeply once again.
お前はこの後どうするつもりだただ絶望に打ちひしがれて予定通り自殺するか
So, what now? Are you gonna sit here wallowing in despair until you kill yourself 4 days from now?
抗おうとは思わないのか
Or do you want to rebel against fate?
抗う
Rebel? Even as I ask the question, I know that for her, rebellion is impossible. The world has already approved of her death. She's in the same situation as Mayuri. No matter what she does, she will die. I know that. And yet, I ask the question.
FB はお前を利用し見捨てたそれを認めろその上で FB に対してどうしたいと考えているんだ
FB used you and threw you away. Accept it. And then ask yourself what you're going to do about it. Moika looks down.
利用されていたとしても
Even if FB did use me,
私の居場所そこしかなかったから
that was the only place I belonged.
初めてだった生きてきた中で自分が必要とされたこと
That was the first time in my entire life that I was needed.
FB が居場所を与えてくれたの私に
FB gave me purpose.
その居場所を守るためなら生きがいを与えてくれた FB を守るためなら
To protect that purpose. To protect FB.
何だってする
I would do anything.
お前は救いようのないバカだ
You're beyond saving. I stand up.
だったら 依存したまま死んでいけ。お前の死は確定している。
Drown in your dependence for all I care. Your death has already been decided.
だが俺は世界の思い通りになっていいとは思わない。だから徹底的に抗う。
But I refuse to let the will of the world have its way. I'm rebelling to the end. I will save my Yuri no matter what. Just a little bit more. I can't give up now. Oh. Okay. Well, stopping where I did last time looks like it was a good decision, because I did not see a good stopping point until just now. Okay. So, I can recall wondering previously, you know, what made Moeka kick? What was her deal? And I think the one idea that I was kind of thinking about, and I think I suggested, was maybe it was sort of some precursor of the mind control tech that we heard from Suzuha. But no, it looks like it was just taking advantage of a depressed person and the dependence that emerged from that particular scenario. Yeah. Well, congratulations for Okabe for not going to jail, because I honestly thought that was a very big possibility last time. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so I guess we're on the FB hunt now. The thing that I'm wondering is, how do we even... Like, FB could be anywhere. And when I say that, I mean, why does FB have to even be in Japan? If it's the Rounders, and they're probably hunting all over the world for the IBNs, FB could just be, you know, in a completely different part of the world. So I think our work is gonna be, well, I don't see this as being easy. Especially because it doesn't look like Moeka is gonna cooperate with us anymore. So yeah. And don't think I've forgotten that we had two, was it two? At least two, but maybe even three choices last time that I kind of just skipped over. I'm really curious about those. I'm gonna think about this. If it turns out that, you know, the path I'm on just continues the main storyline, I feel like I may want to go back and check those other choices, because they could potentially go, because, you know, every character has had their own specific ending so far. So, you know, maybe one of those choices that I skipped by, it could have put us on a path to Moeka's ending, maybe? But yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll play it by ear. We'll see how it goes. Alright, I'm gonna take a break, and then I'll probably come back for some more recording later, so I hope you're all doing alright. This has been Steins Gate. I have been the Worm. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.